Arco is the best game you've never played, and really should have been up for Game of the Year in 2024. As of recording this, Arco sits at a total of 1,125 reviews on Steam, and it deserves all of the praise that it gets, plus more. Now, what is this game? Arco is a Mesoamerican fantasy RPG, where each fight is a handcrafted bullet hellish maelstrom that you must solve through clever use of your skills, items, and environment. While exploring the world, your narrative choices affect whether the combat skews more towards turn-based or real-time. Honestly, what drew me in immediately in this game were the visuals and the music. It very much has what appears on the surface to be a minimalistic pixel art approach, but it's so much more. The game conveys beauty through how the art design, atmosphere, and music pair together. In the beginning of the game, you open as Teko, a boy in a little camping village taking a pilgrimage to place an offering at their sacred tree, and you immediately feel at home with the views of the landscape and music. I struggle at times with new games, putting enough time into them to get hooked, but that was not an issue here. The appeal of the game was brought forward immediately. The visuals are also much more diverse than I would have expected. There's much more here than just rocks and desert, as each different biome and setting gets a lot of love and care, and you can tell how much passion and work went into a project like this one. I mean, it's so small, but look at this transition screen. It has no business going this hard, and again shows the love that goes into a game like this. The soundtrack only builds on the visuals of the game. There's a sense of both adventure and melancholy built into the exploration phase of the game, and there's always a perfectly timed guitar that gives you a feel of being out in the wilderness or around a campfire that welcomes you in and sets the scene. Music also drives home the gameplay as well, with some intensity ramping up with rock whenever a major battle or a boss battle ensues. Without any spoilers, there's also a scene where it becomes really cinematic and it kind of pulls you out, and you get the actual words on the screen with the Spanish singer kind of overlooking basically everything that had just happened in the game, and honestly, it's just so well done. It's hard not to vividly remember moments in games like that. Now, the gameplay is a very unique take on a tactical RPG that allows a lot of room for customization and experimenting without being overwhelming. Each character you have has a unique split of skills, and this allowed me to even experiment in each battle. So for example, you're able to unlock a lob shot, and the enemies with guns move much less frequently than melee enemies. So I spent this entire major fight throwing only lobs and dashing around, as it would take multiple turns to drop, but then I could play very safely throughout the rest of the fight. There's also a real-time element that was added into this game in the form of your own player guild. Basically, depending on your actions, you will have to avoid another potential damage type with a ghost from your past being present on the field of battle. I tried to play as a quote-unquote good character, but not all the choices are so easy to make on the surface. The exploration and dialogue portion of the game is also a standout. The characters feel very real, and exploring feels rewarding with how they use the map of the game to indicate potential branching paths and stories. And now I won't spoil anything, but the story is fantastic. It's so good. It really brought me in quick. The visuals and music and combat brought me into the game immediately, but the end of the first act completely hooked me. I went from enjoying this game to suddenly and deeply caring for the fate of the characters, and it's certainly one you do not want to miss. A final thing where Arco excels is that it is appropriately paced and really doesn't overstay its welcome. Now, I have no issues with long or short games. It's all about quality and how it feels and what the point of the game is, right? But the gameplay has to be rewarding in that time. And a typical run of this game should take around 10-ish hours for someone to play through, and it never feels like anything less than high quality. And I appreciate a game that draws me in and doesn't feel like any fluff or padding has been added into it. So basically, if you're a fan of games, play this. If you're a fan of tactical RPGs and a fan of the old school look of pixel art games like I am, definitely play it. This is one of the best games I've played in recent years, and it is truly one of a kind.